Hello, welcome to this short story. Title: Will I be the A for ending things with my girlfriend who clubbed while I had surgery? I'm a 22-year-old guy, and my girlfriend, also 22, and I have been together for 5 years. We've been a couple since high school, and up until recently, I thought of her as my future wife. In fact, I've even bought a ring and was planning to propose in the coming months. Last weekend was my girlfriend's best friend's birthday, and she and her friends had booked a private lounge at a club. I didn't go because I wasn't invited and I'm not into clubbing anyway. I was actually looking forward to a night in, just binging Netflix and relaxing. My girlfriend left around 9 p.m., and I crashed on the couch and started watching some YouTube. Around 11 p.m., I began to feel a sharp pain in my stomach, similar to being hit in the groin. At first, it wasn't too bad, and I assumed it would pass, but within 5 minutes, the pain escalated until I was curled up on the couch. Eventually, I pulled down my pants and noticed my right testicle was swollen. When I tried to stand up and grab my phone, I collapsed onto the floor due to the intense pain. It felt like being hit repeatedly in the groin. Somehow, I managed to crawl to the table and reach my phone. I called my girlfriend, but she declined my call. I texted her, saying something was wrong and she needed to come home immediately. The club is just a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I put the phone down and began to vomit from the pain. After throwing up for about a minute, the pain subsided a little, and I checked my phone again. My girlfriend had replied with a dismissive, "What is it?" unamused face. I tried calling her again, but she declined the call. I texted her saying I needed to go to the hospital because my testicles hurt. She replied with laughing emojis and told me to stop playing games, threatening to block me if I persisted. I was desperate and called emergency services. I explained the situation to the operator, who asked if someone could drive me to the hospital. I foolishly said yes, thinking my girlfriend would come soon. I was too embarrassed to admit that my balls hurt. The operator said she would call back in 10 minutes to ensure I was on my way to the hospital. After hanging up, I resumed vomiting on the carpet. Once the pain subsided a bit, I checked my phone and saw that my girlfriend had blocked my number. I had no choice but to call for an ambulance. It felt like an eternity, but eventually, the ambulance arrived and rushed me to the hospital. I don't remember much about the surgery, as I was sedated, but when I woke up, my right testicle was being stitched up. The doctor explained that I had a testicular torsion and was fortunate to have reached the hospital in time, otherwise, I could have lost a testicle. Later, I checked my phone and found a barrage of missed calls and messages from my girlfriend. She had come home from the club, found the vomit, and realized I was serious about needing medical help. I texted her the hospital name and room number and then went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, she was sleeping on a couch next to my bed. When she woke up, she started apologizing profusely, saying she thought I was joking or trying to ruin their night. I was too exhausted to argue, so I stayed silent. I felt deeply hurt by her actions and considered breaking up with her. How could she ignore messages where I was pleading for help? She stayed with me in the hospital for the remaining 2 days and took good care of me, but I was still furious. Since coming home yesterday, I've been torn about whether to dump her. On one hand, I feel she genuinely thought I was joking and made a mistake, but on the other hand, I'm not sure if I can trust her anymore. Would I be the asshole if I broke up with her over this? Am I overreacting? How should I navigate this mess? Update. Here's what happened since my original post. I felt it was important to clear up a few things that came up in the comments. Some people assumed I had a habit of playing pranks or interrupting my girlfriend's nights out, but that's not true. I've never done anything like that, and I have no issue with her going out with friends, as long as she doesn't come home at 6 a.m. We usually hang out together because we share the same friend group, but this time was different. The situation with my girlfriend's messages was a little more detailed than I initially described. I tried calling her multiple times, explaining that something was wrong and asking her to come home. She responded with confusion and emojis, clearly not taking me seriously. I told her I needed to go to the hospital and that my testicles hurt, but she thought I was joking. Eventually, she blocked me after telling me not to bother her again, and I was left to deal with the situation on my own until I finally called an ambulance. After I got to the hospital and was treated for testicular torsion, I received a flood of messages from my girlfriend. She was frantic after coming home and finding vomit in the living room and the door unlocked. She had a breakdown when she realized I was serious and sent over 70 messages, trying to figure out where I was and what had happened. Looking back, I realize I made some mistakes. I should have called an ambulance right away instead of hoping the pain would subside, and I should have been more insistent on getting help sooner. But in the moment, I wasn't thinking clearly. I was in severe pain and just wanted her support. I understand now that expecting her to drive me to the hospital while she was out drinking was unrealistic, but my brain wasn't processing everything logically at the time. After the hospital ordeal, I decided to talk to my girlfriend. Many of you and my mom reminded me that 5 years is a long time to be with someone, and it's worth having a conversation before making any final decisions. I explained how hurt I was by her actions. I pointed out how she ignored my messages, declined my calls, blocked me, and didn't check on me even though she was just a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I also mentioned how her initial reaction to the vomit was anger rather than concern. She got defensive and said she thought I was joking, that I should have communicated more clearly, and that she was drunk and not thinking straight. She even said it couldn't have been that painful and accused me of exaggerating. I told her that in that kind of pain, I barely had the strength to text, let alone explain everything in detail. When she realized the seriousness of the situation, she broke down, apologized, and said she would never have acted like that if she knew what was really going on. During our conversation, I asked her if she was cheating or why she would think I was being insecure about her being at the club with other guys. She assured me that she wasn't cheating and that she thought I was just trying to interrupt her night because I was uncomfortable with her being there. She was genuinely remorseful and kept apologizing for not understanding the gravity of the situation. After that, I told her I needed some space to gather my thoughts. I asked her to stay with her parents for the time being. She was upset, worried that I was breaking up with her, but I explained that I wasn't sure yet. I needed time to think about whether I could trust her again after what happened. I told her that we are young, and this situation was an important lesson for both of us, regardless of whether we stay together. She packed a few essentials, and before leaving, she said she was willing to do anything to make up for this and that I could take as much time as I needed. She gave me a kiss and left. That was 2 days ago, and since then, we've only been in touch about my recovery. We're keeping our distance otherwise. I'm really torn. On one hand, I see that she is genuinely sorry and knows she messed up. This is not something she would typically do, and her remorse seems sincere. On the other hand, the trust is still not fully there, and I'm unsure if I can fully move past this incident. This experience has been eye-opening for both of us, and there would need to be significant changes in our relationship moving forward. Thank you again for all the support and advice. This situation has been a huge learning experience for me, and I'm trying to make the best decision for myself moving forward. Should I get back together with her? And if I do, what changes should I expect to make sure something like this doesn't happen again?